Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 232. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to play Diatonic Triads using the CAGED system. This is going to be really fun and cool. And I want to say hello to my friend Jeffrey Boyle here, hanging out with me here. Where's that darn thing? Here it is. Nope, there it is. It's been a week and I forgot where the applause button is. It's just a sign that goes up that lights and the audience goes crazy. So, all right, let me give you a little example here of what we're going to do today. It's going to be much more than this, but I want to show you the CAGED system chords and how I'm just going to go up some of the triads, but we're going to break down into smaller, digestible parts of the CAGED system as well. So check this out. Right here. Starting in the key of C, I have this C chord right here. I'm going to put it on this camera so you can see it a little bit better right here too. Excuse me. The C chord. You go like this. Diatonic chords, 7 diatonic chords of the key right here. I already messed up. Check it out. What's that chord? Nope. All right, something like that. Give you a round of applause for watching. Hello, Mike R. What's up, Jerry? Yep, going over the Diatonic Triads using the CAGED system. So I've done some triad videos before. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I go live every week here. Go Steelers. That's right. I thought you were an Eagles fan. What's up with that? But I agree. Go Steelers. All right. So, yeah, this is going to be really cool because I've done triad videos different ways before. And I think that this way might be the most useful to kind of go along with the CAGED system. Instead of just showing the inversions, the triad, the root version, the first inversion, second inversion, and whatnot. I think it's cool to show it along with CAGED system. But at first, let me ask you, what are you drinking out there? We're live. Let's chat for a sec here. I know I got my my coffee, Italian espresso beans that I grind up myself and I heat up with my pour over. That's my method of making coffee. And I think it's the smoothest way. There's really no leftover grinds in there. It's healthy. Jeff H. I had a Wawa iced coffee. I love Wawa. Man, that's the best part about like Philadelphia or the New Jersey. They don't have any Wawas in New York. But man, I love Wawas. That's just a great store. And their coffee, everything's good there. So good for you. And yeah, he's a bird. That's Eagles. I told you last week when I played that gig and everybody started going crazy out of the blue randomly about the Eagles. I mean, just crazy. When I'm playing a gig, there's like 1,000 people there, and all of a sudden they're like E-A-G-L-E-S. Everyone's like Eagles, And we weren't even in Philadelphia. We were in like South Jersey. I guess they need a team down there too to root for. Lord knows their other teams aren't doing so good. All right, so back to it here. So just a quick question. What is the CAGED system? Well, the CAGED system is just what it means. It's an acronym for the C chord, the A chord, the G chord, the E chord, and the D chord. CAGED, C-A-G-E-D. So we got a C chord, you have an A chord, you have a G chord, you have an E chord, and you have a D chord. D chord. But we're going to do this with all the with the chords of C. So check it out. You have a C chord, you have an A chord, right? But we're going to play it as a C chord. So we're going to move it up here and play it a C here. That's an A shape. You have a G chord, but we're going to play it as a C. So we're going to slide it up all the way to C. So now you have the shape of a C, of a G, but we're playing a C chord. Like that. It's hard to kind of grab like that. And no one really plays like that, but just to show you. It's like that. And then we have an E chord, but instead of an E, we're going to shift it all the way up and play it as a C. So it's an E shape, it's a C chord. Then we have a D chord, but we're really going to play it as a C. So we're going to slide it all the way up. But actually, I'm starting down here. It's like a C chord. It's like a D chord, but it's really a C. And you have this down here as well. Just like that. Everyone's played chords like this, and they forget that you've played in metal situations. You've banged away. These chords. It's the same thing going down here. It's a C like this. Same thing, same shape. Just like that. Okay, so you have those 5 chords: the C here, the C here, the C there, the C there, the C there, C there, and the C here. All in 5 different shapes. So pretty cool stuff. And Miklosh, hello there. What do you think every guitarist should know on the guitar to make great songs? Well, this is one of them, right there. Knowing these triads, it can't hurt. It could inspire your creativity. Knowing just noodling around the guitar or listening to the chords and listening to the inversions of chords will open up your ears and may inspire you to make a great song. Anything you do on the guitar, just living life. Every guitarist should know on the guitar to make great songs. That's a great question. I would say just, knowing these triads, knowing chords, knowing chord progressions, opening up your ears to hearing different sounds is very important, because a different sound may just inspire you. You might play a chord like this and a C major chord, like we're talking about here, right? Like that. And you may change one note and just go like this. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay. Just by thinking, okay, well, I'm playing a C chord. Now I'm going to take the 5th. Here's the root, the 3rd. Here's the 5th. Now I'm going to play a sharp 5 on it. So and I'll go. And all of a sudden you have a little movement there. Like, oh, okay. Now I'm going to be creative. Then you have like you're working on a Radiohead song now. Right there. Sonic G chord. Great question. Miklosh. Thank you. Jeffrey Boyle, the Sonic G chord. Yeah, I'll call that Sonic. Jeff H, 5 shapes, but all of them are C. CAGED. It's brilliant. Yeah. It is brilliant. It's a brilliant thing, 5 shapes, but all of them are C. And you never really would have thought about that, right? Like when you're playing a G chord like that, you're like, well, how can that be a C? Well, it's not. It's a G chord. But if I bring it all the way up to C, the root C on the E string, and I play the same thing, well, I can't play the same thing. It'll sound like this. But you have to bar that. That's the reason why it sounds like that, because you're playing open strings across where the nut would be here. So if you make this your new nut, It's like a capo. It is a capo, your finger. Then you have, now you have, same thing there. Or C, here's a C, you play it anywhere. Or a D, it's like that. But if you had a capo over this C right here, like this, you'd be able to play the C like that. Or any one of these, essentially. So it's really, really cool. Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper on this because, and if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I go live every week. To go a little bit deeper, check this out. I'm going to put on the other camera here so you can see closer up. The C chord right here, right? It has a triad. It has a couple triads. Actually, just one triad, different inversions. So if we start with the C note, then you have 3 notes right here. The root, the third, and then you have the fifth on the open G string. So that's the root on the C note, on the A string. Here's the third, fret 2, the E note of the D string, the open D, open G. C, E, G. And I have the root again right there of the C. So here's a triad, C, E, G. Just 3 notes right here. And what's great about this shape is that I went up the diatonic chords. Now, just real quick, the diatonic chords of a key is probably the most important thing that in music, I think. And go back to your question too, Miklosh. The most important thing a guitar player should know, if you want to write songs or anything, is knowing the diatonic chords of a key. And all it is just the, say in C, it's a C major scale. And each note has a chord to it. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C again. And it's the same formula in any key, so it really doesn't matter right there. But it's regard to this CAGED system right here, going up this C shape, here's the C triad, D minor triad, E minor triad, F triad, G triad, A minor triad, B diminished triad, and C again. And that's so cool to know, these triads, right? Because you're just playing one shape, really. It's a C shape, but you're playing a minor shape. So if I took this C shape, but if I made it minor, you're just dropping the major third down a half step, right? So that's minor. So going up, harmonizing the major scale would sound like this. That's just dyads, 2 notes, but with 3 notes, it would sound like this. Check it out again. Now those are playing triads in harmony over the, just in that shape, the C shape. So I have all those chords in this really cool way to play them right there. There's cool things you can do. You can play little licks, you know. You know, pretty cool, like, you know. Oops. Oops, there is. I should know these, right? A little bit better. There's actually a song that uses something like that. I think it's I'm not even gonna name it because I'll get a copyright claim. But there's songs that use ideas like that in songs. Eisenkeller, greetings, Mr. Cherry and chat. Good to see you, Eisenkeller. Give you a round of applause. Heretics, hey man, I suck at fast alternate picking. Can you give me some tips? Yeah, without breaking off of this subject too much, just work on your wrist exercises. Work on quarter notes, stuff like this. Going back down. On all the strings, you know. There's lots of really good exercises, but try to get a connection between your left and right hand. Work on a metronome, like click, 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 and do things like this, like a click, 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 click. Oops. Alternate picking, and then switch 1, 2, 5. You know, things like that really work a lot, especially these type of things. Just keep going up the fretboard, but do it real slow. Keep going, and I mean, that's the best thing to work on speed. Relaxing your wrist completely and working on. Really good one. Hopefully that helps briefly. I do have some videos on speed exercises, so check some of those out if you can. Jeff H. You have any tips for remembering your double stops across the fretboard? Yes, which is just like this video. Well, check this out. As far in regards to those triads we're playing right here, and these are double stops right here. So you're playing triads in the C shape. These are double stops. So just make some music out of it. Just try to be melodic. So if you're playing off the major scale, with these dyads, they're harmonizing them. Just kind of mix them up. So instead of, if you were playing this, with the harmony go. Or if you're up here, just a, double stops just like that. And now, we're not going to just leave it at that as far as the C shape goes. You could look a little bit deeper into these shapes right here and say, well, I'm not going to start on the C, the E, and the G triad at the bottom of this chord. What if I start on the D string with this note? You got, starting on the third, here's an inversion, so it's a first inversion. The E, the G, and the C again. That's a triad, but it's an inversion because I'm starting on the third degree, the E notes, C, D, E. So then you have a first inversion because it's the first time I'm inverting the chords. I'm using the same notes, C, E, and G, but I'm starting on the E, playing the G, and the C. Just like that. Now, the beauty of this is I could stay in the same shape. I could still consider this the C shape. But going up the scale that way, diatonic chords that way too. So you got the C, you have the D, which would be like this, right? Like that. And the E. These are double stops. Triple stops, really, right? Now, remember how these shapes are, because it's pretty cool the way you have to remember these. It's like this is a major shape right here. This is a minor shape. Remember, in these chord sequences, 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7 is diminished, back to the top, 1, C, major. So, in regards to these triads, these inversions up here, 1 is major 2, right? 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7th is minor flat 5, or diminished right there, right? Back to C again. Now, the easy way to remember this is when you're playing a chord like this, and you can't really see, like, oh, where's the root note? Because I'm not playing the root. Well, here's the root. Always picture in the chord where the root note is. And there's your C. That's your root note. Especially going up here. Okay, well, you might get a little bit lost, but remember now, on this exercise, the root note's going to be on the B string. Here's the root note, the D. So here's the C major scale. I'm going to harmonize that. And the easiest way to also remember that is like seeing this shape. Always remember that the 5th degree is going to be down 1 fret, nope, down 1 string, and then back 1. It's always going to be like this diagonal type of thing, like this. Just like the D shape right here, right? This is your 5th is always, your low 5th is right down there like that. That's a shape of a 5th. It's a lower 5th. It's a 4th away up, going up, but it's a 5th going down there. So looking at this chord here, the C chord, you see I have the root, the 5th, like this, you know. Then I have the 3rd. This is a great way of visualizing the intervals here, because you know this is the 3rd. Here's the C chord. So you have the 3rd. This is a harmony. Very cool, like lick right here. Okay, so here's the root, the 5th, the 3rd. Now, as you go up and you start to play minor, well, really, what is it? What is it? The minor is just going down like that. So that would be a C minor chord. But D minor is like this. So really it's the same thing. Here's C minor, D minor, E minor. But we're not playing C minor. We're playing C major. So now here's the shape going up. D minor. You have the D note. Here's the 5th below. And that's the minor 3rd underneath it all. So now I'm visualizing the minor 3rd below the chord. So you can play double stops like that. Just like that. By just going up the diatonic chords of the key here. C, D minor, E minor. Now I'm back to major. Here's F. So I'm just raising that up again. Here's my 3rds on the D string. Here's my root on the B string. And my 5th is always on this G string. These are always pretty much the same. The 5th are always look the same, except when I get to that 7th chord, because it's a flat 5. It's diminished. See, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not going to be like that. It's It's going to be down one more because it's a flat 5. Back to the C again. Flat 5. See, it's the only time it looks like that. But the third's still the same, so it's still minor. So if I play it all just 2 notes, you can see that they're all pretty symmetrical. Except when I get to the 5th, I have something a little different there. It's like that. So that's pretty cool way of seeing that. So here's my triads diatonically up the CAGED system. Oops. C, D minor, E minor, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C. All right. Any questions about this? Let me know. Let me give you a round of applause. All right. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far. Got my coffee here. I know it's not from Wawa, but I did make it here. Italian espresso beans that I grinded up. Actually, I didn't buy these at the Puerto Rican Export Company like I normally do on Bleecker Street. I got these at my grocery store because I keep forgetting when I'm in the city to get there. I'm in Brooklyn by Prospect Park. I found in my grocery store these Stone, I think it's called Stone Brewing, S-T-O-N-E, Stone. None of you know what that means, but it's what they used to do in the old days. They used to stone you. If you were a bad person, they would stone you. Nowadays, if you're a good person, they stone you. So, I missed a few questions here. Let me see. I gotcha. Awesome, Jeff. I've got a question. What is that? While practicing those chromatic exercises, should I use clean, distorted tone? Which would be better? Both. I would say both, so you can get them really clean. You could hear them. But, you know, let's face it, you're going to be playing with distortion, so use distortion too. Like because you're going to get some noises from distortion that you're going to want to learn how to control. So I would just do both. You know, practice it really clean and slow. And try not to choke the note. Let them ring. Try to, you know, eliminate any noises by muting the other strings that you're not playing, which is a really good one to do as well. Hopefully that helps. All right. So, while practicing this chromatic exercises, yeah, clean and dirty, doing both. Hey, is that guitar Vintera 250s Telly? No. Maheb. Metz. I'm butchering your name. Mametz. No, it's not. It's a broadcaster. This is a Fender Broadcaster guitar. Check it out right there. See it? Fender Broadcaster. If you don't know what the Broadcaster is, it's the original Telecaster. And that was the first name in 1950 when they came out with them. Was the Broadcaster, and there was a drum company by Gretsch, a drum sets named Broadcaster. So Gretsch was going to sue Fender for using the name. So what they did is they scratched off on the headstocks all of the Broadcaster labels, and they were Nocaster, so they had nothing there. And for a year, if you have one of those, it's very valuable. If you have a Broadcaster original one, it's valuable. So it was called a Notecaster. And then a year later, I think it was 52, is when they put the Telecaster on there. It's been a Telecaster ever since. So it's really a Telecaster, but it's really a broadcaster. And pretty cool. And yeah, very helpful. Jeff H. I never noticed that the positions on the second and third string don't change at all till you get to the diminished. Very cool. Yeah, it's cool to notice those little things like that, you know? Like everything is symmetrical. Those fifths are and it's the same thing going up. And you'll see when we go into some different shapes that they're, you'll see everything is symmetrical. All the fifths are symmetrical. Perfect fifths. Except for one of the chords, the diminished chord, and it's flat. So no matter what shape you're playing up, all the chords, the fifth is going to always line up with every chord except for one of the chords, and it's always the same one. It's always that diminished chord, which is always going to be one chord behind the root chord. So in the case of C, B is always going to be a diminished chord with a fifth in there. So pretty cool. You should do a YouTube short of your double stop explanation. You just did. I've seen many, but that was super clear. I got it. Okay, it's possible. You know, when I break down this video and cut it up a little bit, I'll try to remember that part and do one of those. Thanks, Jeff. Very cool. So, all right. So actually, we have all those we have those inversions off of that C shape right there. But check it out. This is another one of those chords where it's like it actually has another type of shape off of there. You have that first inversion starting with the third. Well, guess what? You could start with the G as well. G, C, and the E. So this is the second inversion because I'm starting on the second of the, well, I'm starting on the fifth is what it is. I'm starting on the fifth, which is the G, and then when you start on the fifth with an inversion, it's a second inversion, okay? G, C, E. Just like that. Then you have, once again, you have this D minor like this. It's the same thing. Now you're starting with the fifth of this D minor chord. And just to recap, you have C. C is major, D is minor, E, the third chord, is minor. 4, F, is always major. 4 chords, major. 5th chord's major. 6th chord is minor, A minor. B is diminished, but there's no fifth in this right here. And then C again. So when I go up diatonically here, using the shape still, actually when I do this, I'm breaking through to different shapes as well. So I probably shouldn't even go there like that, but I did already. So here's the C, second inversion. D minor, second inversion. E minor, second inversion. So look, these two are the same shapes. It's just D minor, just minor chords. You have the fifth on the bottom, the root, and then thirds on top. Like this right here. Okay? So once again, nothing has changed really. The roots on the B string, the color, whether it's major or minor, is on the top, and the fifth's on the G string right here. So here it is, right here. The C, D minor, E minor. Now look, here's F, because it's this, you get that shape like that. Same as this, only to make, here's the E minor. Look, to make E major. That's all I did, just slide that up. Now that makes the same chord as here. Right? Okay, so here's E minor, F, G, same, it's a major chord. You have the major third, the root, the fifth. Look, all these fifths are the same still so far, right? No matter what, major or minor, it's still fifths. A minor. So I'm going back to that minor shape, the same ones we had here for D minor, E minor, A minor. Now here's the one that's tricky, the B diminished. Look. Here's a regular B minor. Right? Because you have the B, the minor note, the fifth, but look, you have to be flat 5. So that's the only one, and we did that before. Here it is. Back to C again. B diminished, A minor, G, F, E minor, and E and C. So you have all those triads, and you also have one more down here. The low string. You have the G, the C, and the E. So that's the second inversion again, going up there. So you would have that like this. A lot of tune there. Sounds like it, right? You have like this chord. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. There it is again, the fifth is flat. Here would be a B minor. Here's B minor, and B diminished, and C again. Just like that. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Second inversion of these shapes. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, back to C again. Pretty cool. So those different shapes of the triads on the C. So you have this C triad, first inversion, second inversion, or here. It's the same thing. G, C, E, G, C, E. Just an octave, 2 octaves lower. Oops. Actually, 1 octave lower. It's a full chord. Just like that. All right, pretty cool. So, if you're enjoying this, hit that like button. Any questions here, let me know. We're going to go over to the next shape here in 1 second. Let me just check out what we got here. So the first time, yeah, inverts. The third is on the bottom. Yep, the second time you invert, the fifth is on the bottom. Excellent. Yep. So it helps to know where your root, third, and fifth is. Often remember the shapes, forget the notes of each one. Yeah. I think, you know, knowing the names of the notes is important, but the intervals are probably more important when you see them on the fretboard than just the names of them. Because a lot of times, you know, you're just like, well, where's the fifth, where's the third? It's always good, like, you know, in the case of this right here, which is a really cool one down here. I'm seeing this and I'm going, okay, well here's the root. I know, here's the root, here's the fifth, the third's up here. You can do cool licks down here, like, you know. I mean, how many times have you heard licks like that, you know? You know. You know, like a little riff in A. Harmonize it to do something like this. You know, just by doing stuff like that, instead of being major, I started on a mixolydian mode. So they're going down major. I started on where it would be the 5th degree. So it gives it a whole different sound, but by changing one note in there, which is where this could lead to. Eventually, just switching it up, instead of playing the major scale, play, you know, like a different scale, like a mixolydian mode or something. And all you're doing is starting from a different degree, right there. So pretty cool. Now let's check this out. We did the C chord. What if we did the A shape right here? Okay, well here's a C chord like this. Has less variety of triads here because you really only have this one right here. Because this is a bar chord here. You have the C, you have the fifth. It's a perfect chord, right? You could chunk out some chords, you know, like. Right, so you're chunking them out. But that's not the point of this. The point is the triads right here. You don't have a triad starting on the root. C, you have the G, the fifth, and then the C again. So really, the first triad you have is on the D, G, and B string, which is right here. This G note, the E, and the E. So you have the fifth, the root, and the third, which is a second inversion. So that's your triad. In the shape, just like that. The shape. Now going up through all the different triads, you would have like this. Check it out. You have the C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B half diminished, and C again. Because I'm seeing them just like I did the other way. Here's the C note. Looking at the root, remembering where the roots are. C. I see where the root is here in just these three strings. I'm playing all second inversion triads up the diatonic key right here. So once again, here's the fifth right below it. C, here's the G right below it. But only it's not diagonal, it's straight down. The reason why it was diagonal before is because of the tuning of the strings. You know, the strings are tuned in fourths. The E to A is a fourth, the A to D is a fourth, the D to the G is a fourth, but when you get to the G to the B, that's a third. And what I mean by fourths, so if the open to the fourth would be like this. Nope, like this. The fourth would be to there. So that's how you tune a guitar. Now the B here's a third, which is a B. So you're compensating. So if I went down from the C here, down a fifth like that, it's that much. If I go down to C here, it's like that, not here. So a fourth is that way, like that. So hopefully you get that. Then, so you have the C here, here's all the fifths. That's A, the fifth, the B is diminished again, and C. It's like that. So you have, and here's the chords, major, D minor, because here's your fifth, root, excuse me, and the minor note, just like if I was playing C minor, now I have the root is on the G string, the fifth is on the D string, and the color tone, so to speak, is our major or minor right here, tone, major, minor. But this is major, so if I want to play D minor, I know it's the same thing, only it's down here on the B string, minor. E minor, major, back to the same shape again as E, C. Where was I? The F right here. G, A minor. Now here's that B diminished, because the fifth is on the bottom there. I can't play a B minor like this. Here's a B minor, but B minor flat 5, or B diminished. And C again. So now you have all these shapes right here. You can play around with double stops right here if you want. like that. Pretty cool to know, you know. Just like those chords, you know. So you have those, and this is all based around this A shape. And you have the same thing going up here. Here's another triad starting on the root. So that's your first root triad right there. Very common shape. Oops. So you hear it too right away. And it's obvious when you hear these mistakes. Like that's not the right chord. So when you're playing all the same notes, just inverted around, when you play one wrong one, you're like, it really, really pops out. It's like you have all these notes that are just floating around that are in perfect harmony with each other, which is the major scale diatonic. Diatonic meaning that only the notes proper to the key are related. So when I play all these notes, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You know, they all work together. And when you play one that's outside of those 7 notes, you know right away. And trust me, I hit a lot of them. So, very, very cool. Hopefully you're enjoying a lot of this. Man, we only got through like 2 chords. Here, there's 5 shapes right here. But going to that other one right here, it's another triad in that shape. Let's see some of these questions you guys have. A lot of good questions here. This entire live stream is going in my must-have lessons folder. Oh, that's so cool, Jeff. Thank you. When I have money, I'm throwing it at you. When I have money. All right, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Thank you so much, Jeff. Those darn triads have been terrorizing the coastal villages again. Yeah. Yeah, they're terrorizing these triads, that's for sure. Finny, good morning, y'all. Late to the party and need to catch up. Well, what did the father tomato say to the baby tomato when it was falling behind? Catch up. Horrible joke. All right. Vinny, you'll catch up. I just learned all 12 C major triads today. I'm kind of lost to what to do next. 12? Just learned all 12 C major triads. All 12? I don't know how you got the number 12 out of it, but maybe you're talking about inversions, the roots and the inversions, the movements. That makes some sense here. And question, can Lil Wayne play guitar? I don't know. I know, maybe. Hopefully. He's got enough money to sit around and play all day if he wanted to. So why not? Is this really online right now? Yes. We're really online. We're live. Talking to you, coming at you from Brooklyn, New York. I am from Norway, by the way. Where are you from? Brooklyn. Born in Brooklyn, raised in South Florida. I've been back here in New York for 20 years now. And anyone that uses Pulp Fiction reference is my kind of dude. Yeah, what Pulp Fiction reference was that? Did I use it or did someone else use it? Hi, Jan, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. All right. Okay, cool. So we're having a good time here, playing some triads. Let me go ahead and show you something here real quick. The tomato joke. Oh, that's from Tomato? That's from Pulp Fiction? Okay. I forgot about that. That's right. Well, check it out. Here's a very, very common shape. You're in the A shape, C chord. And here it is right here again, this triad. Probably the main triad because you have the root, the third, and here. And you got the C, the third, and the fifth. I'll check that out. Cloud Chaser. When you have a chance, you should check out the videos. Can Lil Wayne play guitar? Because there's a lot of analysis on YouTube already. But your take would be worth it on Lil Wayne playing guitar. All right, I will definitely look at that. Never thought I would, but I had no idea. And thanks for letting me know. Check it out. Here it is. Here's a C triad. See? I'm going up the diatonic key here. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. C. Now see, once again, everything's symmetrical going up here. The C right here, the root. Check out the fifths right here. See? See, for this one, he's the only one I had to change. Here's the B. C, D, E, F, G, major scale. That's the sound. You got to get that in your head. It's the most important thing in music is to understand just the major scale. Everybody knows it. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. But if I play it in fifths, putting that fifth note. So it's everything symmetrical. Look, I'm playing the fifth. It's all in the same spot. Except for this one. On the B, I have to flatten it. There it is again, that diminished. Otherwise it's all the same. The other thing that's going to change is the third. Here's the third degree now. So the root's on the G string. The major and minor note is going to be on the B string, and the fifth is on the E string. So C major, D minor. Look, we're just going to drop a half step because that's all a major. Difference between a major and minor is a half step. C major, C minor. So we want to play D minor. It's going to look like that. So C, D minor, E minor, F, back to major. Same shape as there. F, G, A minor. Same as the D minor. Oops. Same as the D minor and the E minor. A minor. And here's that B diminished. C again. These are really good to know because you can make music with them and just, be melodic. Just noodling around. Just like that. Pretty cool stuff there. And that's a really, really good way to get into those triads right there. And that's really the only ones you have in the shape. You have the second inversion ones, and you have the first inversion ones here. You can't go any lower to there. Oh, you just have the fifth below. And then the strings there. So that's the triads on just two of the shapes right there. Two of them. I think we only have time for one more. There's 5 shapes, but we'll do one more in there. I thought we'd be able to do all 5, but we're chatting around here, and time flies when you're having fun, right? And I'm going to check that out, Clout. I got to see Lil Wayne playing guitar now. Is that kind of like that other dude, what's his name, from the Lost Boys, the actor, Corey Haim? Not Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. I met Corey Haim, too. The 80s actor and his friend, Corey Feldman, who played guitar. And he was like shredding around, but kind of nonsensical. Everyone was wondering if it was for real or not. Oh, man. Actually, I know his manager. I know Corey Felder's manager. I think it's DeBarge. He's from the family, musical family DeBarge. It's Mike DeBarge. I know him from when I played in the Chubby Checker days. I was Chubby Checker's guitar player, by the way. Not in the 60s, but in the 2000s sometime. So, you have the catch-up joke. What is the best way of getting rid of suicidal thoughts? Play guitar. Play more guitar. And sorry to hear that if you're having any. Appreciate you asking me, but play more guitar and try to be happy and forget about the sad things in life. Playing Lil Wayne hits like Leather or Soft. An arpeggio is a chopped up scale, right? Well, really, arpeggio is more of a chopped up chord. You know, you're playing the tone, you're playing the what would it be called? The of the chord. You're playing the tone. What do they call those again? You're playing you know, out of a chord like a C chord. Target notes. You're targeting the chord tones. So like a C arpeggio, the C chord, you have the root, the third, the fifth. So if I was playing the C major scale, and then a chord tone, or and on a chord tone, the third, and on a chord tone on the C. You know, it's the arpeggio. Arpeggio like that. So they're target notes, chord tones. A chopped up chord. Watching this dude play guitar and trying to play along. Awesome. So I'll try to keep it as, you know, as simple as possible, you know, or as helpful as possible. How do you kill time? Playing guitar. It kills a lot of time, because sometimes I'm just middle of things and I'll grab my guitar and I'll just start playing. It's just a simple idea. Next thing you know, like literally an hour, 2 hours have gone by and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Probably half my life that's happened before. So so what happens if one just practices by playing along with other songs? Is that real playing? What happens if one just practices playing along? Is that real playing? Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're playing, it's real playing. You're playing along with another song. It's okay. And then, you know, maybe you don't play along with the other song anymore. Now you're just playing it by yourself. And it sounds a little different because now you don't have all that beautiful coloring behind you to help you hide from the others. You know, you can't hide anymore from it. It's all you once you pull that backing track out, you know. But that's what gets you good. You could hear, like, what's the difference? Why doesn't it sound as good now that I don't have the song with me? Well, you could figure out why it doesn't sound good. There's several reasons for that. You could not maybe be in perfect tune with it. Maybe your rhythm is not as good as what you're playing along against. And those are all things to practice. It's great to play along with other songs and to learn and try to copy it, note for note, things like that, you know. It's really, really great practice. It's real playing, for sure. Corey Feldman. If Lil Wayne does a lot of hammer-ons. Oh, if Lil Wayne does a lot of hammer-ons. Yeah. Exactly. And DeBarge has some great tunes in earlier. Yeah. Great family and really cool guy, Mike DeBarge. Got to know him for a while when I was working with Chubby. He's helped me out in certain things. He's a really cool guy, Mike DeBarge. Really, really cool. And apparently he's been Corey Feldman's manager for a while. Don't worry, be happy. That's one of my favorite songs ever. Ooh. Really, really cool song. How was your day? It's going great so far. I mean, I like to start off my Sundays by playing guitar, going live. It really helps the rest of the day. Just be beautiful, right? Make some coffee, drink some coffee. And Heinz. We talk about Heinz Field. It's no longer Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. It's Acrisure. And it's a cloud chaser. So we play a bunch of arpeggios to get good at sweep picking. Yeah. That's for sure. It's one way to get good at it. Sweep picking. Play those arpeggios. You know, I grew up, listening to Yngwie and wanting to understand sweep picking, arpeggios, but really there's so much more to arpeggios than playing them fasting, having them doing all that stuff. It's like, it's not as important. Like when I learned, stuff like a, those just showed me, those are 13th arpeggios right there. That showed me all the intervals: root, third, fifth, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. So you're playing every one in this arpeggio instead of just regular, like this. Whoops. It's just a regular C major arpeggio. But here's a 13th arpeggio. It shows you where the intervals are: root, third, 5th, 7th, 11th, 13th. No, 9th, 11th, 13th. So now you know where the 13th is? Check this out. 13th, 11th, 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. And the same thing with all the chords. Here's the D minor. For 2 chord: 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th, or flat 13th, right there. So that's a pretty cool way, and it's just great to see arpeggios that way. Especially if I have a C major 7 chord, you know where the C major 7th arpeggio is. Not really a jazz player, but it's kind of an approach right there. So that's the thing about how I feel about arpeggios now. I use them as more of targeting chord tones. I know I couldn't think of that word before, chord tones. At more than just kind of blowing through arpeggios, which is cool too. So, sweep pitching arpeggios. Without the coloring, most of us are dead. Yeah. Not quite sure exactly what without the coloring, most of us are dead. Yeah, you need that coloring, I grew up listening to Florida and Lil Wayne. That's really cool. What's funny is I grew up in Florida, and what's funny is my mom actually, oddly enough, this is years ago, like I think it was Florida. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. It was another rapper. And she was telling him about me. Like, imagine that. Like, mom gets like, yeah, she met this rapper. Yeah, I told him all about you. Okay, great. Like, he's gonna need a guitar player someday. Maybe. Moms are always trying to help, and they always do. So, let's see. Finish. Super hard for me. I haven't tried practicing CAGED chords in a while, using different scales. Cherries lessons. Yeah, it's something to keep practicing. It's really, really important. Jeffrey Boyle says, Joe Pass says, if it's not fun and easy to play, don't play it. I love that. That's really, really cool. I never heard him say that, but I believe it. He's one of the best guitar players in the world. And if it ain't fun and easy to play, don't play it. Life is short, Eliminate all the junk, for sure. Cloud Chaser. The 7th fret is very important. Yeah. They're all important, all the frets, not just the 7th one. But any good guitar wizard, hello, good to see you again. Any good resources for arpeggio charts? I don't really know. I mean, there's so much stuff on the net, really. I wish I had it. Maybe I'll make one, a good arpeggio video on different arpeggios. That's really, really great question. Definitely come up with some kind of systematic approach that makes sense to your style of playing. You know, like whatever would be beneficial and helpful to you to learn arpeggios, do it. You know, like for instance, like if you're playing chords like here, like this A shape that I'm playing, that we've played through, A shape. Good way to play the arpeggio, just kind of look at it like I'm playing the C chord. Kind of grab that, you know, play the D minor. Or same thing here. That kind of makes more sense. You know, here's the 3rd. D minor. E minor. It's the same thing. F, G, A minor. There's the diminished one, a little tricky. That's the flat 5. Yep. Oops. Break them down. Just like here. Oops. That's pretty cool too, do stuff like that. Yep. Oops. Here's the tricky one. It's diminished. All right, pretty cool. All right, I never understood. Sounds arpeggios of the future. Live stream when? Sounds like arpeggios for the future. Live stream when? Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Instead of memorizing a bunch of patterns, knowing the degrees and altering them is usually smarter. Yeah, absolutely. Very true. Just altering them. Because once you see the C here, you know, like once you see the C chord, C major 7, you're just taking the root, dropping that down a half step. So now you have you can target those. If you want dominant, bring it down there. If you want minor, if you want a flat 5, oops, yeah, like that, flat 5, back to major. All right, pretty cool. All right. Let's see, how many questions? Never quite understood the full chord. I never understood why we only learned full chords like C, G, D, F when first starting. Any guitar teacher starts there. Yeah, because I guess most people see that and they want to learn the full chords. But they're hard to play, really, the full chords with that. Like, you don't have to play like all of them like that, you know? You could break them down, like what we did. You know, we played the C chord like this. And then we moved it up. The D minor, here's your minor shapes. Look, I'm only playing three strings here, or two. You know, why play a whole chord if you could just play a piece of it? You know what I mean? Like, and these CAGED shapes right here. C, look, I could play a C just like this. I could play a C like this. D minor. Here's an F. G. F. C. A minor. So breaking them down is really cool. Just like this C, this D minor. And the real beauty on this too is that it really trains your ear. There's a lot of ear training within these triad shapes because you're really hearing tight-knit intervals within each other. So when you play like chords like this, you know, you're really breaking them down. You're hearing like, you know, you're dissecting them. I'm hearing that's a little flat, my E string right there. That's just the way that the guitar is made. You know, it's not a perfect instrument right there. You could tune it all you want. It's really not going to be perfect. Then you have things like that, like this D. You start to really hear the intervals between like the minor and the fifth right there. Your fifth should be more in tune, like that. Now have a light touch also. Just barely press your fingers down onto the fretboard, just so you just fret them. Don't put any extra pressure on it. Just gently put it straight down. Don't bend it. Straight down. Now I'm hearing these. My ear's developing to hear a flat five. Hear a major. Like I recognize that all day. Minor. Major chords. Here's a C again. Or when you play them down here. I'm starting to hear these lower tones, the fifths. Flat five. You know? Really, really good for developing your ear right there as well. And Ted Green's book. Ted Green's book has some crazy hard chords to play. Yeah, but you remember what Joe Pash said. If it's crazy and it's hard and it's not fun, don't play it. But if they're crazy hard and they're fun, play them. Are you a better teacher than Stephen Tarenberry? I don't know who that is, Stephen Tarenberry, but I don't even call myself a teacher, to be honest with you. I'm not really a teacher. I'm just a guitar player who likes to share whatever knowledge he has with people, whoever's interested, really. That's what I like to do and consider myself. I like to share what I know with other people and also gain insights and things from other people who are like-minded people. So that's pretty cool, though. So yeah. Master the full G, C. Yeah. So it's kind of like, the CAGED system right here. And capos are kind of, I don't know, limiting. No. I did a thing last week on the capo, and it's really great. It's a great tool to be able to play open chords everywhere. But I think it's important to also know what's the capo is actually doing for you, and show you that the CAGED system is really just like using capos everywhere. So just like any other tool, you just use it. It's pretty cool for certain things. And once you get beyond the first fret, what do you do then? Yeah, that's a good question. So where's it? Cool. I struggle with the numbers, still learning the major arpeggios. Yeah. Well, like, we're going to close it up with this thing right here, but I know there's 5 different shapes of figuring out these triads, and I only was able to get to 2 of them today, the C shape and the A shape. But if there's anything you could take out of this lesson right here, I'm glad we did that with the A shape at least, because I learned how to play these 7 diatonic chords of a key this way when I first started playing. Starting on the C note, I learned on the A string, the major scale. And I realized that the 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4, it's like the number system too, the natural number system. 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, B is always, or the 7th degree is always going to be the diminished, and C. So you have the 1, 4, and 5 is major, the 2, 3, and the 6 is minor, and that 7 is going to be, the diminished one. Now, once you know that, you have the full chord here, like the A-shaped chord, the C, major, D minor, E minor, F minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished. Oops. I have a hard time playing that, always did. And then C again. That's the framework right there. Once you know that, you could do like anything right there. You have the C, you have the 1 chord is always major, 4 chord is major, 5 chords major, you have 2 chords minor. Look, it's the same shape. Major chord, same shape. Minor chords. Here's the C one. The only one that's different is this one again, that we can't play. Diminished, or down here. C. Now once you know that, you could see all of the arpeggios within that. Like the C arpeggio. And you could just break down 1 octave by looking at this, or just even the same way. 1, 3, 5, root. Arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, root. D minor. 1, 3, 5, root. E. 1, 3, 5. And they're all symmetrical. They're the same thing except for his major. Back to major. Major. Minor. Diminished. See that diminished, flat 5. Back to the root. See, nothing sounded obtrusive or outs. These are the same 7 notes. I'm just shuffling around. And then you'll see, there's some slight differences between these. I know that in this 1 chord, it's it's just a regular C major scale. But I know that this major scale right here, when I go to the major chord, the F, there's slight differences between these 2 chords based on the C major scale. If I played the C major scale going down up here from this F, here's C right here, right? So I have those notes in there. Here's C major scale. But in the context of F, look what I have in there. I have that. Going down C major scale. But over the F, I have, gives you like that sound. So each one of these chords is a little bit different sounding. Even this G right here. If I go down the C major scale, I have that note right there. See, C major scale. But over the G, I have that chord. So this is a C7 chord. Sounds a little different right there, right? Now look, check this. So I have this chord, G, I have this chord, then I have this chord. These are all major chords, but here's a C7, major 7. Here's an F sharp 11. Here's a G7. Actually, I learned it like this first. I learned ninth chords like this, then like this. This was always the hardest one. Then this, then this one. How did I learn that? This is the same type of thing. I remember this was like it was like this one. I forgot it already. It's been so long. Ninth chord. Totally forgot it. E. Hold on. Like that. There it is. Like this one. It's a little odd. Same thing up here. Because this is it's got a flat 9. Like I'm playing a B chord with a 9. That diminishes, so it's gonna have that. So it's really good to know those shapes like that, and you can base a lot of stuff around that. Very, very helpful, I think. So going over quite a bit today, but we're having so much fun here. My God. Let's see. Man, you are not considering yourself a teacher, but man, you are teaching like one. Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Appreciate that, Cloud. Actual question, can you cover a song using just one string? Yeah. Absolutely. Here it is. Check it out. Mary had a little lamb. You can play anything on one song, on one string. Really, really. Anything. Most songs only span 2 octaves. A piano could cover them. 2 octaves, 16 notes. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say try playing along with any song. I'll tell you where you should go on the fretboard. Yeah. Very helpful. Thanks, Guitar Wizard. 8 to 13th fret, 12, just a low E all over again. That's right. Yep. Same exact, just 2 octaves below. There's an E, E, E. Same thing everywhere. You know? Just like that. Very cool. See if I'm not missing anything. William from Brazil. Beijos. All right. Great to see you there from Brazil. That's so awesome. And is it an anti-tutorial, but he points out all good and bad things about Lil Wayne's playing. Oh, check that out. Finny. Cherries, our Sunday morning guitar sharing party host for the most. I'm the hostess with the mostest. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for hanging out here with me here today. It's very, very cool to learn this stuff, and we could have got into a little bit more of it, but it takes a while. I'll have to break it down some more of those later on. We got the C. All right, that's all diatonic, playing right up the C major scale right there. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Peace. And all right, guys, thank you so much for spending some time here with me. Any questions about the stuff, let me know. Check out, I do have a guitar course I could show you briefly. It's called the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar. There's a link in the description. I go over 4 topics. I go over fretboard memorization, where I show how to easily recognize where all the notes are over the neck. The Circle of Fifths, which shows you basically like the key of C, but in every key, how it all is the same thing, really. It's the same system. And then I go over the blues, where I have lots of backing tracks and graphs. And when I talk about playing the blues, it's mostly about coming from the heart, you know. Bending. And intonation, things like that. And then I go over the CAGED system, playing 2-5-1. So check that out if you're interested in that. It's a pleasure. And the Contemplation Blues. Yeah, right. Billy Strings was right. Once you unlock the fretboard, noodling is your oyster. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me here. Cloud Chaser. A lot of new people popped in today. I really appreciate it. Really cool. And Jeff H. and Guitar Wizards here. I really, really appreciate all you guys. William from Brazil. I'm say beijos to you. And then my limited amount of Portuguese right there. And Finney and everybody who popped in here today. It's really, really cool of you. Spend some time learning guitar with me and Jeff. So very cool. So thank you, guys. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video on the 7 diatonic chords of any key, I'll put that right up there for you to watch. All right. Love you guys. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Peace.